Hello, this is the member Zoom Hangout. And on May 26th, 2021. And, on the agenda for today, we have multi-stakeholder decision process referendum to discuss. Anything else we want to put on the agenda at this time?
Well, I can just kind of give a report from what I've been working on the last couple of days. I've been helping the Chinese community get together this video for the IFF. I don't actually know what the IFF stands for, International Finance Foundation or something. I'm not sure, but it's some convention happening in China that we're the only blockchain project on this call, in this convention. We have 8 minutes to prepare to basically tell a bunch of finance people what RChain's about. So Greg has been working on that for a while, and so he honed down the elevator pitch to about 8 minutes. So we've been working on that video, and hopefully, well, it's done now. So hopefully, we can share it with the community. I think Greg does a pretty good job at condensing everything down into 8 minutes. So yeah.
Sometimes he doesn't do a good job of keeping it simple, though. He can go on into more technical stuff, and that's where he can lose a lot of people.
Yeah, exactly. So I think he did a good job this time, as far as, you know, not making things too technical and kind of keeping focused on the target audience. And I think he does a fairly compelling job at explaining RChain and the why of RChain, and then the how of RChain. It's yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm curious to hear you guys' feedback after it all.
When do we get to see it?
I don't know. I'm going to ask whether we can share it right away. I don't know whether it has to be, we have to wait until after the actual convention, or whether we can just start sharing it within us. I'll find out.
All right. So I guess Theo brought up the fact that those who bond Rev for a long time have a greater stake and should be have more of a say in, I guess, governance than, you know, members that are not involved and don't know the issue well enough to make an enlightened decision. And, you know, this is one of the reasons why pure democracy tends to make bad decisions, because, you know, it becomes more political, and, you know, people don't know the full implication of what they're voting. And because we're a cooperative, in the Washington State cooperative, we have a one member, one vote charter or bylaws as required for a cooperative. However, the members can vote for another decision process. And what I've been advocating is a multi-stakeholder decision process. And if you look at, you know, well, I was at the Platform Cooperative conference last year, and, you know, it was said a number of times that a multi-stakeholder decision process was the right thing for a platform cooperative, which is what we are. And I have no doubt that that'll make for a better decision. Okay, and I just outlined a very rough distribution here. 20, 20, 60, 90, I don't know. Obviously, these numbers are somewhat arbitrary, and we would have to figure it out, but this is an example breakdown where the member vote counts 20%, Rev holders 20%, 15% of that is for bonded Rev, and 5% is for other Rev. 20% for developers, 15% for users, 15% for employees, 10% for the board. So
How did you come up with those numbers? It's very scientific.
I pulled them out of the hat. Okay, and you know, a lot of it is subjective. I don't know what if there's any documentation on what would be the best thing. Very often they'll have 3 stakeholders, each having a third. And so if 2 out of 3 of the stakeholders agree, the other one is overridden, so to speak. But you know, there's other things that, you know, where they divide equally the stakeholders, and that's arbitrary too. You know, we can you know, basically, you know, argue why a different stakeholder group should get more or less say. And I don't think we have any research data to back it up. More of a subjective feeling, like, hey, you know, the bonded Rev people should have more of a say than other. Okay, so I mean, and we have to consider what the voters will approve. I mean, if I make this 30 and make this 10, members are likely to vote it down because they're going to say we're not getting enough say. So it's a matter of what will the members follow.
Well, to a degree, these categories are arbitrary as well, right?
Right. I mean, we should brainstorm as to what other stakeholder groups we should consider. These are the ones I came up with in 5 minutes. So what are your thoughts on this, Theo?
Yeah, I mean, there should be like some sort of formula that decides voting power rather than like fixed number per percentage. Like, for example, Rev holder. I mean, you could hold 1 Rev. Do you still have the same power as someone who kind of who's heavily invested into the project?
Yeah.
Or someone
Per
who
Rev.
or there is like a difference between someone who just bought Rev on the exchange and someone who probably locked it up for like 10 years and really believes in the project success.
Right. So this would be based on the amount of Rev you hold.
Yeah, so you have to take all those factors into consideration and make up like a formula and So it should work out.
Like what? You wanna type on here?
No, not really.
Yeah.
No,
But Theo's points are valid. Like, I think it does warrant some more discussion on that. I do like the idea that the Rev Holders Ratio isn't super high, because there's those amongst the crypto world who would probably want that to be the entire thing.
right,
you
and
know,
we know that would make bad decisions, because it doesn't take into consideration the other stakeholders.
Exactly. Yeah. This is really interesting to me, like just the overall kind of concept. I know that Greg has a pretty stark stance on the one member, one vote approach.
Well, that's, the one member, one vote is a requirement for a cooperative. But yeah, we certainly can, he has supported the idea of multi-stakeholder in the past. Now, I don't know,
Cool. Okay.
I don't know how he'll react to it now, but in the past, he has, at least he's given lip service to it. I mean, when I brought it up before, he indicated agreement that this is the direction we wanted to go.
Yeah, I mean, like, to me, it's kind of like the one way of kind of looking at the bold attempt for humanity to improve democracy is that currently democracy is really crude in its resolution. It's like, you think about, the resolution of an audio file, the getting a better sample rate, increases the density of the reality that your ears are subjected to. If we can increase the resolution of democracy in such a way where you have like what you preach about all the time, Jim, you have people who are more equipped to make the better decisions, being able to kind of have more of a say. And you have a system where right now with most co-ops, you have one chance to vote, and it's just once a year at the AGM, and you have like 2 or 3 things you vote on, and that's it, and so, if we can increase the resolution of the democracy by having more votes throughout the year on more issues, and kind of, helping foster intelligent decisions, I think we could become kind of like a flagship of, improved democracy around the world. Like, so, I applaud your efforts, Jim.
So the I guess the other thing that goes in the delegation of decision power to committees is another consideration here. And the because we are elected, and board assigned. Elected members, and we can put here liquid democracy. I'll just put that question mark for now. But I think for October, we really should consider instituting some improvements to governance.
there is a AI research paper that kind of outlines kind of like how would AI model the governance, like how it would come up with like the taxes and stuff, and like what numbers exactly, so that everyone is happy. So there is like some sort of simulation that really kind of models like how the world works. Like you have like an agent, right, so that has to earn income, and he can earn income by building like chopping trees and building houses out of that. So and when you get the income, you have to tax, right? So and those taxes can get to everyone. And the question is like, how do you model the governance, like taxes and stuff, so that everyone is happy, everyone has enough of everything and stuff like this. I could probably link it if I found it quickly.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's the same thing. I don't know that we can, I don't know if we have any, there's no commodity here that we're trying to distribute fairly. And, you know, obviously, the members are going to think they get to say, the Rev holders are going to want the whole say. And, you know, I would say that the users should drive the system. You know, I would give the user, you know, if it was up to me, I would give the users the most power.
Yeah, I mean, it that would fit with the business model of the co-op. The whole kind of intention of the co-op was to get DApp developers to develop on the platform, and the co-op would make money off of the fees of these developers using the platform. So, you know, in many ways, as far as the co-op is concerned, the users are the most important ingredient. And presumably the users are members, but they're members that are, you'd be calling active users, or you'd be calling them active members. What's the difference between members and users?
Members belong to the co-op.
Oh, when you say users, you're talking about people that end users who aren't necessarily members. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see. So these are people who are using the dApps that are being built on RChain.
Right.
And some of these end users would be members, but most of them probably aren't.
Right.
Found the video. You can probably link it just for reference. I mean, it might not be applicable to our case, but it sure is interesting.
Thanks, Theo. I'm going to check that out later.
Oh, it's a video. Okay, so tax policy might apply to fee structures, whatever.
I thought it was a very cool approach to governance, even if it is like in a game simulation. So you can let AI find like the perfect perfect governance model so that everyone is happy, everyone's kind of has equality and
Yeah, I mean, that might apply more to budgeting
yeah.
than to voting.
But you have to vote for budget, right? In
Yeah.
our case, if you want to budget something, everyone has to put the vote.
I have a question about the percentages. Are they meant to be exclusive?
No, they're not.
Because I can be a member, a Rev holder, a developer, and an end user,
Yeah.
and an employee.
Okay, first of all, I mean, you have to, you have to be officially in the developer group. Okay, and if you may also be a member in the, okay, in these multi-stakeholder things, I mean, you'll often have the case of people getting multiple votes by being in multiple categories. And, so they're saying, if I'm a member, I should be able to influence the outcome of the member's choice. So the members may choose yes or no. And if they choose yes, and I think no, and I'm a member, I should be able to vote no, and maybe this will change to no. So I would have two says, but it's only one vote really that all the members get. There's one vote that the Rev holders get. There's one vote that developers get. So it's we're I don't know if that's clear in here.
Now, if I'm a member and a developer and I'm an end user and then I'm an employee and I'm on the board, do I get 5 votes?
I think it's better if the formula kind of caps, not caps, but it's kind of logarithmic, so that it doesn't, your voting power doesn't escalate. So it's kind of harder to gain the system. So it's much closer to the one vote, one member, one vote. But it still kind of escalates kind of increases your voting power if you're participating in many activities.
Right, you're going to have more votes than you have people, but the each stakeholder group only gets to vote one way.
Okay.
So it's not like your vote's getting counted twice. The members only get one vote, whether or not you vote or not, whether or not you're a member.
So if you see like one vote equals to one voting power, and if you are a member plus like a board member, then your voting power becomes like 1.5. Then if you're board member and maybe a developer, your voting power becomes like 1.7, etc., etc. So that's kind of how I see it. So you're not really voting like over 2 people, but you still kind of have more say in the matter, rather than someone who just like got in, So if you do all of those things and you kind of have been developer for like many years, your power should probably be like of equivalent to 3 people or 4 or whatever it is, depending on the formula.
Yeah, I was curious about that. Theo mentioned the longer you hold Rev, the more valuable your vote is. I'm wondering if that shouldn't be true for most of these categories.
I don't get it.
So the
I get the
longer you're a developer, if you're a new developer, your vote is less than someone who's been developing for 10 years.
So there's some credence given to seniority.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, that's a good way to put it, seniority.
Maybe if those questions are kind of more directed towards core development, then someone who's more senior should have more say because they know better around the source code and stuff, what would work, what wouldn't. I feel like this seniority should still count to some extent. Maybe not too much that the new guy wouldn't be able to vote at all, but if you kind of like Tomislav, I mean, I would rather prefer Tomislav vote for me on any core issues than
Right.
you get the point.
Okay, so the trust metric can be applied here.
Mm-hmm.
And so it may be like hours, how many hours you worked for the co-op, like on the core development team or for co-op in general.
So maybe I should say seniority or trust metric. I mean, in Spiral with the co-budget system, an employee generally has to work with them for 2 years before they get any budgeting power whatsoever. And really that applies to all the topics for a separate bullet item. And there's one other thing I wanted to put on the agenda, which was the prepaid contracts.
Prepaid deploys. That's how I call it.
Deployed. Let's figure that out. We had RChain, did you have something for the agenda? Hello, RChain. Are you there? You're on mute.
Yes, I'm there. I've nothing. I have something for the agenda. I would like to know when the block merge is ready.
Okay, one blockmerge.
Is there any deadline for it, or?
Well, I think wasn't there an update lately on that? Theo, you were working on the milestones, I think.
What milestones? I think it was Raphael, maybe.
Maybe it was, yeah.
Yeah, Raphael was working on the timeline that's on the front page of RChain.coop. I mean, as I understand it right now, blockmerge is the goal, I think, is within the summer. But whenever we talk with Rao about it, he's very cautious about giving actual dates.
Well, okay, the blockmerge was actually completed
Yeah.
time ago, or
Yeah, and it's running on testnet too, right?
running on testnet 2, and they're still working on improvements. They're not getting the full benefit yet. But
Right.
they have, they've identified areas where they can improve it, and they're working on those.
And on testnet, gives it a lot of performance improvement?
I think it was, what was it, 6 times improvement or something?
Okay.
And I don't know, it was something like that. And I'm not sure what version that was. They were getting 6 times because they were, they may have been getting 6 times, but they were also having some problems. And they're looking, they're looking for better. They're working for better.
And also to the Greg is actively looking for new developers. I can't remember the name of the company that he's starting to work through, a headhunter company. So there's, that also is in play at the moment, trying to bring on some more developers to kind of help speed the process up.
Yeah.
The challenge there is that it's going to take any developer a while to kind of get up to speed to the point where they're actually becoming useful. Like according to Rao, like a month or 2. So there's always that kind of, the moment we bring on a developer, it's not going to instantly become useful. It's going to take a little while to onboard them, apparently.
Yeah.
But the sooner the better, right? As soon as we get more developers, up and going with that, the better we are. So it's good news that there appears to be focus and possibly budget for that.
So I'm currently working inside of a recruiter out of Boston. I'm actually helping them place people. So would it be helpful to Greg to get in touch with that company?
I think he's looking for companies that specialize in academic.
I'm sorry, what?
I think he's looking for companies that specialize in academic candidates.
I think Scala is something that's high on the priority list.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was going to say, I mean, if he's looking for academic developers, that's fine. I mean, they're in the marketplace too. I mean, we can, a recruiting company can certainly source those, right?
Yeah, you might want to DM Greg and see if he's interested.
Yeah, I would definitely say that.
All right, so I'll contact the owner probably later sometime today and give her Greg's contact details. Would somebody give me Greg's contact details?
Why don't you DM Greg and see if he's interested first?
Yeah, maybe PM him on Discord first and see what he has to say.
Sure. Cool. I can talk to Greg about something. That's awesome.
And then
I wonder how hard it is for a Scala developer to jump into source code of RChain, because it's kind of a lot. It's not really a vanilla Scala. There is a lot of functional programming going on there.
right, functional programming and Scala would be required.
It's like a requirement, otherwise you're not gonna understand anything. I kind of went through Scala, basics over like overnight basically, but then I still couldn't read RChain source code.
Yeah.
It's very advanced.
Yeah, that's why they're really looking for people with a background in mathematics.
Well, I'm sure there are plenty of college kids that could use some help being placed.
I think you're right. And I know you're right.
I remember Tomislav learned Scala while working for RChain, right?
Did he?
Yeah, I remember he said so during the presentation.
Huh.
So it was impressive that he could jump into RChain source code and kind of continue the development, like just like that.
Right, and he's basically an expert in functional programming.
Yeah, well, now he teaches us.
Foundation.
Yeah, so we need a few more Tomislavs.
Right. All right. So I guess a couple things about prepaid deploys. Basically, I guess a number of people developing apps that aren't familiar with blockchain, we're in a conundrum. How do they onboard users who have no Rev onto their apps? It's a big stumbling block for people to get on. And some of the new chains like near.or and dfinity, Internet Computer One, have a mechanism for prepaid deploys. In fact, Computer One, the user never pays a fee. Okay, it's always the developer or the contractor that pays the fees, just like an ordinary application on the internet today. The company pays for their computing facility. Okay, the user may join a membership to use it, whatever, but that's separate from paying for the actual compute time. Now, and you got to look at Dfinity marketing, okay, because their valuation jumped to $35 billion. And And this idea of making an internet computer is something I thought RChain should use more. I mean, the people don't know what it is, they don't know what a blockchain is, but an internet computer, they would not, you know, they might have a clue about, you know. Um, and the idea that the users don't never have to pay fees is very attractive. And I think that's why their valuation jumped so amazingly, is because people got their story.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, and I looking into the details of how they do shit. There's nothing.
Okay, I was going to ask this. It's like, is there something that we need to be afraid about because dfinity has figured it all out?
The thing is that they're so well funded now that I'm afraid, yes.
Right.
I think a lot of the stack is like closed source. So there is very few open source like parts, as far as I understand. So it's not fully open source as RChain is.
Motoko, the most powerful smart contract language ever created.
Yeah, it sounds like a little bit like Casper Labs and HoloChain, actually. Although I don't know what their consensus mechanism is, but you know, their language compiles into WebAssembly. So their containers, or whatever they call them, are, you know, WebAssembly code plus the state of the process. But who knows? It could be Casper Labs under the hood. I guess a lot of people are using WebAssembly now.
Yeah, you brought up a good point though. They really figured out a simple way to kind of define. It's nothing magical either. I mean, Ethereum was calling itself the world computer, and RChain was starting to banter that term around, the world computer. But it looks like dfinity managed to just kind of become that, you know, take over that kind of that brand.
Well, I think they extended a little bit with the idea of internet computer, right? They somehow taking the internet to the next level, or the next architecture, a new architecture for the internet, or something like that.
But is that actually what it is?
Well, I couldn't find any technical information at all.
I'm trying to find it myself.
You could program. I didn't follow the path of programmers. I did glance at what they had on GitHub, but it seems like, they provide the information for application developers, but nothing about the architecture of the machine. That I could find.
Yeah, like no white paper. I don't see, I haven't been able to find one yet here.
I didn't find one.
I'm gonna talk to Atticby about dfinity. Didn't he post some stuff in the members channel with, wasn't he and Dan Connolly, weren't they kind of discussing dfinity a little bit there?
It rings a bell. Where is it? Definitely. In the public RChain. Did I spell it wrong? DFINITY. I only see one mention of it. I don't know why it doesn't find it. Okay, Buzz. Asked in March if Definity is something that we should worry about. Atticby says, read the last question in the AMA article. I don't think those with leaders taking turns out to produce blocks that can scale within a shard or handle atomic cross-shard transactions. On top of that, they may have more vulnerable DDoS attacks and less censorship free. Did we talk about it in the members Zoom hangout before?
Don't recall.
Obviously, I didn't know what I was talking about here. And we are almost at the top of the hour.
All right. Well, I'm going to say goodbye and see you guys in 4 minutes, 3 minutes.
Later, guys.
Bye.